Okay, at 22 years old, you're young, you don't know what you want to do, you need to work hard.
There's a term, it's called
The main thing
absolute
you
power
need to do is
corrupts
work your ass off.
absolutely.
I need you
So
working 12 to
but
16
that
hours.
is,
So unfortunately,
when
we're
we talk
now
about
in a
masculinity,
society where
that's what
men
we
Younger
have.
women
why
are
men
likely to be
young
held
women
in
who
dark
white
factories.
Historically, you take over things, places that you don't like. Sometimes women have to change the goal. You can do what you want because that's what
I know what you're thinking. He's another random idiot on social media giving his baseless opinions on what it is to be a man. And I get it, I'm sick of it too. And that's why it drove me to make my own video on the subject. But I truly do believe that there is some concern to be had on the current state of masculinity. And I don't think it's the fault of most of you watching this video. I put the blame on those who make careers out of regurgitating the same stupid opinions and talking about them as if they were facts. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I've always kind of lived in my own bubble. I don't usually spend a lot of time following trends or paying much attention to what's going on, whether it's online or in the real world. But lately I've been paying attention and I feel like something's changed. I've been trying to stay tuned in, and what I'm seeing is honestly concerning to me. I'm not really qualified at all, but I'd like to share my opinions if you guys like to listen. Before I get into it, I want to clear a few things up. Toward the end of my video, I'll be sharing my thoughts on what I believe are good qualities for being a man. Now, these are just my opinions, and honestly, I'm just trying to figure that out for myself as well. You're also going to hear me say some things that might sound critical of men in general, that have pissed off men in the past before by saying so. And I've had a lot of pushback on these opinions before. You know, I get that. But these are my honest thoughts, and they come from a place of wanting to understand and improve. Some of what I might say might even sound like I'm reinforcing toxic masculinity to some people. And again, these are just my perspectives, and they're always evolving. If you disagree or feel like anything I say is harmful, feel free to let me know in the comments, because I'm open to hearing different viewpoints, and who knows, I might even change my opinion on these viewpoints as well. I'd also like to share a little bit about myself before I get started. You're probably wondering who this random guy is recording on a shitty camera with a shitty mic is. And you know, I don't have any fancy lights in my home office. Didn't pretty myself up for this video. I threw on a random tank top. You know, I don't have any other YouTube videos on my channel. So, you know, I'm actually hoping that brings a level of authenticity to my video. But who am I? 30 years old, even though it looks like I'm pushing 40 right now. Married, and I've been working as a software engineer for the past 5 years. And workload varies. Could be putting in 40 hours to 80 hours of work a week, depending on what's on my plate. And it's definitely tough work. I mean, I'm sitting on my ass, but, you know, mentally exhausting work. But it's allowed me to buy a home, get my wife a car, and I'm able to support her while she focuses on her education. And I know that's looked down upon by a lot of you men out there, but that's fine with me. Now, before becoming a software engineer, I spent 5 years in the Marine Corps. And I do want to clarify that my opinions are my own and not that of the United States military. And I say that because I try very hard to avoid that old salty veteran stereotype, even though it kind of looks like I'm cosplaying one right now. I do want to mention that I don't have a lot of tangible accomplishments. I don't have degrees from fancy schools or a bank account to flex on anyone. I've accomplished almost everything I've wanted in life, but those accomplishments are very personal to me, and they don't mean anything to anyone else except for myself. I also grew up without a father figure. My father didn't really take an interest in my life until I was already an adult. It felt like he wasn't interested in raising a boy. He just wanted to be proud of having a son who had already become a man. On top of that, I've never had any positive role models growing up, and honestly, that's mostly on me. I've had plenty of people I could have looked up to, but my own arrogance kept me from seeing them that way or ever looking up to them. Instead, I looked up to the man I could potentially be. No, I'm not sharing this for sympathy, credibility, or to make the video more relatable. These are just facts and part of my story. So there are 3 main issues I think are contributing mostly to the masculinity crisis. The first one is that men don't know how to deal with their insecurities. Now, I'm not going to talk about that subject in this video because I feel like it's been talked about endlessly, and if I ever do cover that, it's probably going to be its own video. But the two of the things I want to focus on in this specific video is one, young men are looking up to the worst kinds of role models, and two, that there is a serious lack of accountability among men. Those are the two factors, in my opinion, that are driving the crisis in masculinity right now. I want to start by talking about accountability first, because honestly it's the one that pisses me off the most, and it's really the main reason I'm making this video. It's one of the biggest signs of whether someone is truly a man or just playing the part. And I've seen a lot in my personal life. Men who are afraid to speak up when their friends say or do something immoral or unjust. And I am guilty of this in my past, but not to the degree that I'm seeing these days. And I think in my head, as a man, you should be comfortable enough to call your own friends out when they cross the line. And, I get it. It's tough to be the one who kills the vibe and, makes things awkward by calling out bad behavior. Kind of feel like a snitch or something like that. I don't know. But there's a point where you have to draw the line and stand up for your own values that you believe in. If you're not willing to hold your friends to the same standards that you live by, then you're either failing your peers or you are no better than them. Like, think about it. You wouldn't let a pedophile into your inner circle, but why would you tolerate racists, sexist, or bigots? You've got to protect your own brand and your integrity. Now, there's another aspect of accountability that I want to touch on, and this is where I'm going to say something that might sound controversial or toxic to some. But I'm speaking from experience here, my personal experience. A lot of men have this issue with constantly seeking validation from other men. You want to be part of a group so badly that you start doing things that don't even align with who you are really. If you're always chasing approval, then you're not your own man anymore. I just don't get the idea of putting other men above yourself for their validation. It's one thing to be part of a community, part of a group, but don't lose yourself in that process. All right, so now I want to talk about the horrible role models that a lot of these young men are following or look up to for some reason. And you can probably imagine the type of person I'm talking about, constantly hyper-masculine, which is a sign of insecurity, in my opinion. Disrespecting women, putting them down, putting women and other men down, which to me seems like you are constantly trying to elevate your status by putting other people down. Is that really something a man should be doing? A real man should be doing? And then chasing status and clout, constantly feeding off of attention. I guess that's what a lot of young men consider to be manly these days. I don't know. But I understand why young men, and even, I guess, older men my age, look up to them because, on the outside, it seems like they're confident, they have money, they have power. But, you're trying to follow in their footsteps. They're selling you poison because you are not that person. First of all, a lot of their persona can probably be faked, honestly, online. And, they're pushing this idea of being ruthless, dominant, emotionally dead inside, which is the worst part of it at all. Because, look at the statistics, and men are more likely to commit suicide. And these horrible role models are telling men to be more emotionally unavailable. That doesn't make any sense to me. And we like to throw that fact at women's faces. Hey, don't be a feminist. Men are committing suicide more than women are. You guys are all right. But what is the cause of that? Is it woman's fault? Or are these horrible role models the ones that are contributing to that? Not all of it, but they're definitely contributing to that. And yeah, this idea of having no empathy and no vulnerabilities, and how somehow those are weaknesses. Yeah, that's destroying you. And you need to ask yourself, are the people you are following, are they helping you? Or are they dragging you into this like pathetic cycle of proving your manhood to a bunch of idiots who don't even care about you? Who are you trying to prove you're a man to? Yourself? Are you trying to know that you're a man yourself? Or are you trying to prove that to other people? Don't watch your life crash and burn trying to follow these dudes. Be your own man. Figure out what that means for yourself. Don't follow these idiots. All right, so I just spent the last however many minutes talking about what I think is wrong with masculinity today, and what's causing those things. And I just mentioned how, you got to figure out for yourself what it is to be a man. But I want to give my opinions now on what I think a man does look like. Take these how you will. My opinions, disagree, let me know in the comments, whatever. First one that really drives me up a wall about men. And believe it or not, I stumbled upon this so much in the military. I don't know if it's just the Marine Corps, but man. And that is men who are constantly complaining. Like, I think that it's going to sound a bit toxic. If you have an issue as a man, take care of it. If you can't take care of it, get out of that situation. So much complaining done by men. And I'll give you a very stupid example. But all of these gamers, which nothing wrong with being a gamer, but all of these gamers that are complaining about games being woke, are you fucking serious? That's your that's what you're complaining about, games being woke? I gotta play a game as a woman, or hey, these characters aren't sexy enough in a fucking video game. Really? That's what you're bitching about online. It just boggles. You know what? I'm not chronicling online. I don't know if these people are being serious, but I hear about it so often, and I don't know what the fuck is going on with y'all. That's you're in this victim mentality because you don't get to play as a man in a video game, and because the people in the video game aren't sexy enough for you. I don't know if this is incel behavior. I don't know what's causing this bullshit, but y'all gotta stop. That's just pathetic. I'm a gamer myself. I mean, I only really ever play, Souls games and Elden Ring, but holy shit, y'all are sad. And that might sound toxic to y'all, but really, get your priorities straight. The next quality I think is very important is stop being a hater. And this is coming from someone that's OG hater. I love to hate, mostly for fun. But you gotta stop putting people down and focus on yourself, really, especially if they have nothing to do with you. And I'm gonna shift this into something that a lot of men or young men hate because they love to hit on women, but y'all gotta stop putting women down in general. I'm being serious. Like, all your high school sweetheart cheated on you, so now all women are sluts. Like, bro, get therapy. You gonna be okay. Don't hide that shit. But you don't gotta hate all women now because your high school heart got broken. And then there are a lot of men that, shit on women because they are trying to gain independence from men. I don't know, it sounds weak. It sounds like you're scared of a little competition. Get your weight up. Stop bringing other people down. Get your weight up. And maybe then you can compete. without attacking them. And I can go on and on with a list of the greatest qualities that I think every man should have. Those first two are just things that kind of piss me off about men in general right now. This last one is, I think, going to be a more helpful one in my opinion. And I can make, hours and hours of videos on this, and shit, some of them might even contradict each other as I grow and develop as a person, which you all should be doing. But this last quality is that I believe every man should be a professional in at least two categories. And before I go on, professional, I don't mean you got to be the best in the world, but these are things that you should be constantly striving to improve in. One of those is going to be your professional career. And I don't care if you're working at a fast food joint. I know there's some upward mobility in those as well. I used to work at McDonald's. They were trying to get me to be a store manager. They were trying to give me my own company car. They sent me to McDonald's University. And I said, hell nah, joining the military. But the money was there. Upward mobility was there. I worked hard. 18-year-old kid. The second place where you should continually develop is something outside of work, something that it could be a hobby. You could be a gamer, and I believe that times have changed. Even gaming has some place in this world. You're trying to be a streamer. I don't care what it is. For me personally, my professional is software engineering, something I'm constantly striving at, trying to become better at. And my second, outside of my professional career, is fitness in general. And something I'm constantly striving for, even though I'm in a bad place right now, getting a lot of fat. But something I have in the back of my mind, and that's kind of the second most important thing for me. Yeah, that's all I have. If you watch this video, I appreciate you. Not sure if we're making any more videos. This is something I wanted to get off my chest because everybody has opinions and shit. I want to get mine out there too. If I said anything that you disagree with, let me know. I'm curious to hear what you guys think, especially considering that I am somebody that tends to keep to myself. So, my name is George. Appreciate y'all watching.